Hey ABC, this is Dr. Robert. I'm here in Boston with my wife. I'm here as a spouse. She's doing a meeting here. And I just came along to accompany her. And I am on Commonwealth Avenue in Boston, and I'm about to go into the store Nuggets. You see their sign behind me. And I gotta say, this store has a huge personal meaning for me, history for me. I was here between my junior and senior year in high school with some friends. It was the first time I was ever in a large city, actually, and we were kind of footloose and fancy free. And this store founded in 1978, so in the summer of 1978 I was in Nuggets several times, and I can tell you I remember buying the Cars' first album, which they weren't getting national airplay at the time. They were a Boston band and they were everywhere in the city of Boston, and that record caught my eye, and I was able to turn several of my friends on to it back home when I got home. I also bought Some Girls by the Rolling Stones, I think. Bruce Springsteen, Darkness on the Edge of Town was hot that summer, and I think I bought a copy of Animals by Pink Floyd. So I've been in once since. It's been a number of years, so anxious to see what we find. Hey VC, this is Dr. Robert, and I'm inside the Nugget store, and yes, here we are. I was lucky today to run into Jessica, who was here shopping while I was here, and what caught my attention about Jessica's process was that she was on the phone as she was shopping, shooting
FaceTime. I was on FaceTime
with my father. She was on FaceTime with her dad, yeah. And as a father of a daughter who is not quite as fond of vinyl as I am, I was a little bit jealous seeing how interested she was and how she was sharing it with her dad. So I will tell one more story at the end of the video, but Jessica, what was your experience today? And tell me about the history of you and your dad and how you came to like vinyl.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, we were just walking by and I noticed I saw records and vinyls. I was like, we have to come in here. I'm here visiting for the weekend, and my father, I grew up listening to a lot of 70s music, late 60s, 70s, early 80s, and he just played it all the time. And his history of music came from his parents, and he also grew up in New Haven, went to college in the area, and worked at a bar right outside of Toad's Place, which was a huge music venue in New Haven, and a lot of the times big artists would come through and play at the Yale Bowl, like the Stones, like the Eagles, like mainly any big artists in the 70s, and they would come and play smaller shows at Toad's Place. And so because he worked in there, he would get to see all these artists play really secluded shows, and a lot of rock artists in the 70s. And so he had a big exposure to music in the 70s and became a huge music fan, and has carried that through to his children, and started taking my brother and I to concerts when we were like 7. So we'd seen Earth, Wind & Fire, the Eagles, and Steely Dan, and so many artists live. And so he carried that fan of the 70s music through to us. And a few years ago, he showed me all of the vinyl collection that he had in our basement. I didn't realize that he had all of this vinyl, and he had Asia and so Creedence Clearwater, Survival, The Stranger, Billy Joel, a lot of really classic rock albums. And so he ended up handing them off to me once he figured out that I started having an interest in collecting vinyl as well. And now in my own apartment I have a record player with a small collection of vinyl as well as his collection of vinyl. And so yeah, my love for music just continues, and I think it's great to be able to experience vinyl as well when you open up a vinyl record, and you also get to read the lyrics as you're listening to music. It's quite the experience, versus maybe just scrolling on Spotify. I love Spotify, but It's definitely more convenient, but I think vinyl has a tangible experience to it that you can't get through digital music. So, yeah.
Well said. I agree with all of that. I think most of us who are addicted to it have some of those same feelings about the physicality of a record,
Exactly.
and as well as listening to the music. And very cool that you got that from your father. Yeah. So, what was your best find today?
My best find today? Ooh. I'm always looking for a good Kansas record. This is classic. Has Dust in the Wind, which is arguably one of the greatest rock songs ever. So
it's cool.
It's a cool album. Let's see what else I have here. Horrible, destructive, terrible. Let's see here. This is a good one.
Yeah, that was one of her
rock albums.
Yes, exactly.
Estonian. So I thought this was a cool find as well.
Yeah, that's one I don't have for sure.
Yeah, so probably these two are my favorite finds
cool.
today. Yeah.
Cool. Well, congratulations. I think we were talking. I shared with you some. My daughter has not really gotten into music to the same extent I have. She likes classical music and used to play classical music, but she finally got her first record player recently in her apartment, and I've given her some records too, as your dad did. And so I've recently heard from her that she's been enjoying listening to those. So a little resonance there, really fun to watch you interact with your dad and fun to hear your story.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, it was so nice meeting you, and I hope that your daughter can maybe ask for more of your records and maybe listen together as well.
I'm going to make sure she hears this video.
Okay. Listen to some more of your dad's records.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. That's well meant and well said. Thank you. Hey, VC. I'm still here in Boston, accompanying my bride to a meeting as a spouse. But wanted to show some of the records I bought at Nuggets record store yesterday here. I wanted to get this video uploaded as soon as I could, so shooting it from our hotel room. But here's one I found that I've never seen, so I took a chance on this. This is Inman and Ira, The New Generation. It's a folk record. It's actually a promo Mercury white label mono copy. Again, took a chance on it. Has a lot of kind of cool songs on it. It's got Green Green Rocky Road, I always love. It's got one called Strontium 90, obviously about nuclear weaponry I'm interested in. One called The Clan. So it's going to be an interesting, I think, record to check out. Here's another. These are sort of just, I'll say, some of the highlights. I'm not showing you everything I bought, but a big part of it. This is a soul compilation out of England, the second Roscoe Show. I'll Take You There, obviously the staple singer song he's referring to. And this was in mint condition. It was only $7, and it's on the British Atlantic label. Came out in 1974. It's got Aretha, Otis Redding, Wilson Pickett, Donny Hathaway, Percy Sledge, King Curtis, Clyde McPhatter. I mean, it's a really nice looking compilation in beautiful shape. I don't buy a lot of compilations, but this one caught my eye, and again, reasonable price and some great music on it. And this is kind of an unusual purchase for me. Go Little Honda by the Hondells. I have the other Hondell record. I think they only put out two. I'll have to check, so don't quote me on that. But this is a sealed copy. And this is a record I don't necessarily buy to listen to, to find a sealed copy, this one again priced $15, which I thought was very fair, it is a collectible item. I had a copy a while back. I got rid of it somewhere, but bought this to put on the shelf, maybe to display, because it is kind of a fun artifact. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is this record, Tim Hardin, Archetypes. And I'm going to do a video on a series of records here coming up, so a series of albums with similar titles and similar packaging. And this is one, this Archetypes series on MGM. This came out in the early 70s, and they included on the series only performers that they considered, to really stand out and to create an archetype. So I've got the one by Billie Holiday recently. I've had the Velvet Underground one for a while. I've got the Allen Ginsberg one advertised down here. I don't have the Charlie Parker, and then there's several others. Some interesting choices. Small Faces down here. I don't have Hank Williams. I don't have the Archetypes record, and then the Blues Project I think is an interesting choice as well. But here's Tim Hardin. So I now have 4 out of the 8 records. There may be more, but I think that was the entire series, and they all come with cool liner notes, really detailed liner notes about the performer. And some of them have cuts that aren't available in other settings, but mostly these are repressings or compilations. Again, and this one, again, Tim Hardin is a performer. I really like his work. I've collected most of his other records. Very sad, kind of a career trajectory or life trajectory. I, became a heroin addict while he was in the military over in Vietnam, and I think was never able to stop that. And I suspect that interrupted what would have been otherwise a longer and more productive career. But it really he put out a number of records, and obviously a couple of very interesting and important songs that were covered many places. If I Were a Carpenter and Reason to Believe. So that's a few things I picked up here, and I'm going to head out again today and check out another store. May or may not create a video around that, but until next time, the doctor is out. All right, BC, I'm gonna wrap up this video with some footage from Boston Harbor. I'm out here with my lovely bride, who's currently piloting our boat, and we're on an electric boat scooting around the Boston Harbor. It's something I've never done. I can give you a little bit of a pan here. So I don't even really know what the names of the places are, but hopefully this comes out. There's the downtown back there, and again the pilot. And so I ended up going to just 2 record stores here. I already showed you a little bit what I found at Nuggets. I went over to Cheapo Records near the Harvard campus in Cambridge a couple days ago. And I have to say, I found some incredible records at Cheapo, and didn't really expect to find this. I found a lot of soul and blues stuff that really fits some holes in my collection. And I wouldn't have thought of Boston as that kind of town. And I think I've realized, sometimes I'm always thinking, like, what do people listen to in a city that's going to, that's going to be reflected in what I find in a record store. And I actually think that maybe it's kind of the other way around. It's what people don't listen to. So people, whatever records come in, the ones that sit there are the one and stay there and are there when you go are the ones that nobody else in town is buying. And I found that a little bit down in Miami a while ago. I never made a video about that, but I'm beginning to think that may be more the issue. So with that, I'm going to show you what I found at Cheapo and then sign off this video. So a couple of Nina Simone records. This is one of them. This is a recent record, or more recent record, from the late 70s, I think. It's on a label I didn't recognize called PM, 1979, and A Very Rare Evening. This looks really cool. It's obviously a live record. Can't wait to get that on the turntable. That's got, I think it's going to rain today, and Revolution on there. So should be very interesting to hear. Here's another one that I found that I've never seen before. It's a Lightning Hopkins record. And this is a combination of an interview and music. I like interview records, and I think I'm going to make a video maybe about that coming up, but about interview records. But this one, again, is a double record on Prestige, and there's only this one vinyl version of it from what I could see on Discogs. So really looking forward to hearing that and having that in my collection. Here's the other blues record I bought, and this is another one that I thought was really cool. This is Memphis Slim and Willie Dixon in Paris, Baby Please Come Home. on the Battle label, and that's which one is it? It's Bill Grauer. So I think that is a subsidiary of, what was his record label? I'm blanking on it now. It's not Prestige. I think it's, well, I'm blanking on it. Somebody will post it in the comments, or maybe I will after I review it when I get back. But at any rate, these are in pristine shape. Covers all VG plus, but pretty high VG plus, but the vinyls are all near mint. This was a Marvelettes record on Tomla from, I think it's either 69, late 60s, or maybe it was 70. Let's see if I can find it there. There it is, 69. So on the Motown subsidiary Tomla, loved their stuff. Here's an Ike and Tina Turner I didn't have on the Pompeii album cover, or sorry, album label. And this is an Atlantic subsidiary. And again, this is a compilation. It's one I didn't have. And I think it's actually a second pressing of this particular album, but look forward to hearing that. This is an early Marvin Gaye, relatively early, mid 60s, I want to say 66 maybe, and that's a mono copy of that. This one's not quite near mint. I'd say this one's a VG plus vinyl, but still a very serviceable copy, and the label, the cover in very nice shape. Here's another Nina Simone, Forbidden Fruit. It's about the only album of hers from the mid 60s that I didn't have, and so glad to get a copy of that. And that's on Colpix. This is actually a second Colpix label, and we've just heard the end of the Aretha Franklin singing on the radio, but here we are with a couple of Aretha Franklin records. These are both promo copies, white label promos, in absolutely stunning shape, both of them. These are both from her Columbia years, which most people, I think, don't consider those her best records compared to what she did later with Atlantic, but still fun to have, and a couple that I've never owned, and to get a promo copy in stunning shape of both of those was really exciting. So that's what I got, and more to follow. And until next time, the doctor is out.